Alright, welcome back everyone. If you are on Twitch, thanks for hanging out. If you are on YouTube, thanks for coming back in. Hopefully you guys have found the stream. I posted a link. We are doing Microsoft Flight Simulator World Tour 149, Flight 149. We're flying into every country and territory in the world. And we just finished flying into and out of Andorra, just over those mountains behind us, in a helicopter. And I crash landed the helicopter twice, ruining my average landing rate. But what are you gonna do? It's like the early days of X-Plane for me, when I was first learning how to fly these airliners. Still trying to figure out the helicopter. Alright, so we're gonna be flying from Andorra, LESU de Gel Airport in Montferrer y Castellbò, Spain, down to Adolfo, Suárez, Madrid, Barajas Airport in the district of Barajas, Madrid, Spain. This is Iberia Express A320neo, usually flown in the ATR72, but I don't have an ATR72 or a livery to go with it. So we're going to be using Flybywire's mod for the Airbus A320neo. My favorite and probably the plane I fly the most in the sim right now. So, let's, got... Okay, Power's gonna come over, or he's gonna leave, I don't know, whatever. Alright. Inside the plane, let's get it started. Making sure everything is going, everything I need. Ready to go. Get on the fly pad. We're gonna get our get fueling. Pull that right from SimBrief, our flight plan. There we go. And the flight plan right here says we need 5,165 kilos. And that's all we need right now. On that, do our checks. Parking brake is set. Speed brakes, flaps are retracted. Engine ignition switch is normal. Engine switches are off. Thrust lever is idle. Let's turn up the screen brightnesses since it's about 4 in the afternoon in sim. Landing gear is down, nose wheel and anti-skid is on. Turn off the glare shield brightness as well. Zoom in because you're using the mouse scroll wheel and it kind of just fell off the button. Go up to our overhead panel, windshield wipers are off, and we do battery switches. Navs for our deers. Do our fire tests on the APU. Alright, seatbelt signs off since we are fueling. No smoking, auto, emergency lights armed. Put on the FMS on the A32NX Airbus here. And get our weights and balances. We can pull this right from SimBrief. We have 139 passengers. They're going to start boarding. I'm also using Pack X to simulate passengers. A little redundant, but I like it. Give ourselves an hour flight time. Only getting up to 29,000 for our cruise going back to Madrid. We were up at 36 coming up here, so I don't know what happened. There might be a step. Sometimes that happens. Okay. Yeah, actually, which is it? What's our cruise altitude? We get up to 39,000 at one point. Really weird. Hey, passengers coming on board. Turn off these screens so we can see what we're doing. Get our clearance. Or just tune traffic, I guess. Yep. Take off runway 3. Go to our NIT page. Alright, alternate is Lima Echo Alpha Bravo. Hey Cassandra, welcome back. Just about to take off and fly back to Madrid. Cost index 6. Cruise, I believe, is 390. A little confusing. Flight plan. We're taking off runway 3. No standard instrument departure, so we'll just insert. Clear that discontinuity. Alright, our first waypoint is Rebol. Then we're going to get on an airway. Uniform Lima 110. Take that to Xerox. Then back onto Uniform November 860. Take that to Krita. Uniform Zulu 596. To Tursa. Insert. And the plan is to come in on 32 left. They might give us 36, but right now we're going to plan 32 left. Whiskey. Star is Tursa 2 Zulu. Going to do Asbin for the Via. Alright. What flight are you doing, Cassandra? Did you say? I know someone said they were flying Wellington to Sydney or Sydney to Wellington. But even that's not really a long haul. But depends on what your definition of a long flight is. I mean, for me, that anything over like 2 hours is long. Just because I don't have a ton of time to do flights anymore. I used to regularly do 6-hour flights. Alright, so we got that all in there. Radio nav page we'll do a little bit later. The flight. Go back here. Check, make sure all the passengers are on board. Have them boarding fast, not real time. Yep, there they are. So we'll go to init page 2. Fuel prediction. 0 fuel weight center gravity, 23.4%. Fuel planning. We actually have 5.1 thousand on board. And right here we can go with our winds. We're going to have a tailwind of 16 knots.
If you have any trouble or need any assistance, please don't hesitate to let a flight attendant know and we would be happy to help you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row, please leave the exit seating responsibilities in the card in the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with these actions, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be refueled. You are free to use your portable electronic
Alright,
device
using,
to
this is
board
SimSmart A320neo performance calculator,
devices are stowed
kind of modeled on the
within
real life calculator they
and
use.
welcome aboard.
Put in our airport code. On real life, they insert the metadata manually, but we can pull it. What I like about this is it gives us the runway length. It's a very short runway. And it'll also usually give us the slope, which is a little hard. Winds, we have 210 degrees at 3 knots, so we probably should actually be taking off runway 21, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Not on yet. No. So we might do that. We might flip around. Well, actually, it'll give us everything because it'll go off the winds. Outside air temperature is 11 degrees. QNH is 1015 barometric pressure. Dry runway. Anti-ice off. Takeoff weight is 62.3 thousand. Forward center of gravity because it's less than 27%, 23.4. And air conditioning on. Calculate. Alright, the minimum length of runway for the A320neo is 1,500 meters. The runway selected is too short. Uh-oh. Okay. That's not good. I didn't actually think about that when I planned this and then switched it to the A320. That's why they fly the ATR-72 out of here. Okay, so, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't have any performance calculations. So, actually, how did I close that? Let me try that again. What we could do, we should be able to do, but maybe it's because it's just too short. Oh no, it's not good. Not good at all. Oh, that is a long haul, San Francisco to Nairobi. That is a long one. What am I looking for? Alright, 62.3. We're also heavier than our first flight today. That doesn't help either. Let's see if we can do it. Let's do Comp 3. Still doesn't work. Alright, well.
We're on your time now.
Yeah, you are on my time. Okay, what we're gonna do for performance, I'm not gonna fill these in. We're gonna go flaps 3 for takeoff, which I've never done in this plane.
Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour.
We're gonna go max throttle. We're gonna hope we get out of here. That is. That's bad. I didn't plan that. I didn't look into that. Okay, our transition altitude, barometric pressure, 8,000 feet. There we go. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a... Hopefully we don't go off the end of the runway. You guys are in for an exciting flight, I think. We'll do our initial climb to 29,000 feet. Up. Yeah, well, make sure you... Well, it depends on what plane you're in. Yeah, make sure you definitely have enough fuel and enough range to do that. Okay, barometric pressure was... What did I have for that? 1015. Okay. We're going to do predictive wind shear and cockpit door is locked. Got the flight directors, APU master, and start.
Lima Echo Sierra Uniform Traffic IBEREX PRES 8327 is taxiing to runway 03.
Starting engine 2.
Hola, les damos la bienvenida a este vuelo de Iberia en nuestro nombre y en el de Madrid. Antes de despegar, tenemos que darles unas instrucciones de seguridad. Es importante que presten atención. Durante el despegue y aterrizaje, los dispositivos electrónicos deberán permanecer desenchufados y en modo avión. Recuerden que este avión dispone de conexión Wi-Fi y que podrán utilizarla sin restricciones, manteniendo el modo avión desde el momento de cierre de puertas y hasta su salida del avión, salvo que la tripulación les indique lo contrario.
During takeoff and landing, please unplug your electronic device and set it to flight mode. This aircraft has a Wi-Fi connection, which you can use in flight mode from the moment the doors are closed and until you leave the aircraft.
Si han traído equipaje de mano, por favor, colóquenlo en los compartimentos situados encima de sus butacas o debajo de sus asientos delanteros, dejando despejados los pasillos y salidas de emergencia.
Starting engine 1.
Durante el despegue y aterrizaje, compruebe que su mesa está cerrada, el asiento en posición vertical con el reposabrazos bajado, el reposapiés plegado, el cinturón de seguridad abrochado y la cortinilla de su ventana abierta.
Please place your hand baggage in the overhead locker or under the seat in front of you, making sure not to block the aisle or emergency exits. During takeoff and landing, please check that your table is folded away, your seat is in the upright position with the armrest down, your footrest is folded away, your seatbelt is fastened, and the window blind is open.
Por su seguridad, les recomendamos que mantengan su cinturón abrochado y visible durante todo el vuelo. Y siempre que la señal luminosa lo indique. Para abrocharlo, inserten la trabilla en su enganche correspondiente. Para soltarlo, simplemente levanten la lengüeta del enganche.
Keep your seatbelt fastened and visible during the flight and whenever the seatbelt sign is on. To fasten the seatbelt, insert the tag into the buckle. To unfasten, simply lift up the flap on the buckle. This aircraft has 10 doors, all marked exit. In the unlikely event of having to use the evacuation slides, follow the
APU can come off.
Leave all baggage behind and remove
Runway turn off light and taxi lights on.
Este avión tiene 10 puertas de salida señalizadas con
Speed
la
brake
palabra
armed.
exit. En el caso de tener que
Flaps
usar
in
la
takeoff
rampa de
position.
evacuación, siga la senda luminosa. Deje todo su
Remember, we only got to flaps 3.
Quítese los zapatos de tacón. Debajo de sus asientos encontrarán un chaleco salvavidas. Sáquenlo de la bolsa y para ponérselo, introduzcan la cabeza por la abertura y pasen la cinta de atado por detrás de su cintura, enganchando la
I'm gonna do a flight control check.
de un extremo a otro y
Pull
tirando
forward.
la cinta para ajustárselo. Para inflarlo, solo tienen
Back.
que tirar con fuerza del tirador de plástico
Pull
blanco
right.
o soplar por el tubo.
Pull left.
Y recuerden, nunca deben inflar
Rudder.
el chaleco
Pull
dentro
right.
del avión.
You will find a
Pull
life
left.
jacket under your seat. To put it on, place it over your head.
Yeah, I'm just
pass
gonna
the
do a quick
tapes
check
around
of my
your waist,
tiller.
and make sure that all fasteners are secure. Pull on the tapes to adjust. To inflate the jacket, pull firmly on the red toggle or blow into the mouthpiece. And remember, only inflate the jacket when you leave the aircraft.
En caso de despresurización de la cabina, se abrirá automáticamente un compartimento sobre sus asientos, que contiene máscaras de oxígeno. Tire de la suya, colóquela sobre su nariz y boca, y respire con normalidad. Después, preste ayuda a quien pueda depender de usted.
In the event of loss of cabin pressure, a compartment above your head will open and oxygen masks will drop down. Pull on your mask, place it over your nose and mouth, and breathe normally. Make sure your own mask is correctly fitted before helping anyone else.
Recuerden que para evitar poner en peligro la seguridad de este vuelo, no está permitido fumar o usar dispositivos que liberen nicotina en ningún caso.
Smoking and the use of devices that release nicotine are not permitted.
Y no olviden que tienen más información en las instrucciones de seguridad que encontrarán en la bolsa delantera de sus asientos, como las vías de evacuación, el uso de máscaras de oxígeno, chalecos salvavidas o la posición que deberán adoptar en caso de emergencia. Además,
Oh, 19
tengan siempre
hours.
en cuenta las señales y demás
Yeah,
elementos
I'm
informativos.
thinking I should have done this
The
flight with a
literature in
CRJ
front of you
at least.
contains more information on safety
Much smaller
instructions,
plane.
such as the escape routes, the use of
Just don't know why I
oxygen
didn't.
masks and
I'm
life
guessing I
jackets, and
couldn't
the
find
position to
right
take in
livery.
an emergency. In addition, always take notice
But yeah,
of any sounds
this is
and
gonna
other
be-
information elements.
It was definitely a short
Thank you very
runway on
much for your attention.
landing.
Esperamos que disfruten de un feliz.
I feel like I've landed at a short, like on the Isle of Man or Jersey or Guernsey. Landed on pretty short runways there. Took off from them too, but I think I was getting in
Lima
CRJs.
Echo Sierra Uniform Traffic Iberia PRS 8327 taking off runway 03 departure to the north.
Alright, so we're just announcing traffic because there is no ATC here. Alright. Okay, taxi into position. Kind of need a whole runway, but yeah, we're gonna go max. No, toga. We're not doing any flex takeoff, anything like that. We're just gonna get as much speed as we can get, and hopefully, obviously, this is not how they would do it. I mean, you know, there's a minimum for a reason, and there's not a lot of room for error. Oh man. Alright, we need to get to like probably 130, I would be my yes. I think we can do it. Not safe, but we also got those trees right in front of us. Crap! Yeah, you don't want to be doing that.
Barcelona Center
Positive rate. Gear up.
8327 is type Airbus A320N 1 miles northeast of Lima Echo Sierra Uniform 2,900 feet. Request flight following.
Iberia Spurs 8327 Barcelona Center. Squawk 0066.
Squawk 0066 Iberia Spurs 8327.
There you go. Are you going San Francisco to Gatwick and then Gatwick to Nairobi? Or just Gatwick, Nairobi?
QNH 30.11. Boeing 8751 traffic is 12 o'clock 4 miles at 2,700 feet Airbus A320.
I should have gotten a replay of that to see how much I cleared those
Roger,
trees by.
IBERIX PRS 8327.
I'm guessing, and I'm going to check this, but I think that is supposed to be that's a castle right there.
Boeing Tree 22 have the traffic.
No, that's
Easy 86
something. It's the Ciutadella della Su de Gel. So it's kind of like a castle, like, but it's pretty much like that. Yeah, there's reason they can't get photogrammetry for this area is because there just isn't. They'd have to actually just model the buildings. Well, I'm glad we got in the air. Standard QNH. Just about crossing 9,000 feet. Northern Spain, just south of Andorra and the Pyrenees. Headed to... Pull back to climb there. Headed to Madrid, 10,000 feet, turn off the landing lights. And we can turn the seatbelt signs off. Weather's pretty... Got a tailwind of just about 12 knots.
Iberia Tree 254 traffic is 9 o'clock 4 miles at 7,400 feet Airbus A320. Report them in sight. Boeing 8621 traffic is 1 o'clock 3 miles at 8,400 feet Airbus A321.
Yeah, so all those snowy mountains right back here, that's where Andorra is. now we're headed back to the capital of Spain.
Iberia tree 25 for traffic in sight.
Headed back to the capital of Spain to set up for our flight to Luxembourg.
Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Iberia A327 Barcelona Center. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Following 875 you are 42 miles north. Descend and maintain 9,000.
And from Luxembourg, we'll fly down to Italy, to Rimini, Italy, where we'll then take a small plane in and out of San Marino.
Charlie airspace, Iberia 8327.
And then back from Rimini, we'll head up to Vienna, Austria. And we'll fly from there over to St. Gallen, Switzerland. And then we'll take a helicopter. Maybe I'll switch it to a plane and we'll just do like a field landing in an X-Cub or something. I'm tired of just crashing these helicopters. But we'll do a flight over to Liechtenstein, and if I figure out if I'm gonna do a plane, I might fly. We'll go into Liechtenstein, and then we'll fly over to Zurich or something, because Zurich's a really cool airport. But the plan right now is to fly into Liechtenstein, then fly back to St. Gallen, and then fly up to the United Kingdom, fly to Heathrow, and from there we'll fly down to Gibraltar and back, and then we'll be in Ireland. So probably, I'm guessing by the end of the month, if I get the flights in, we'll be probably beginning of June, we'll be doing a 6 or 7 hour flight from Iceland to Canada. And so that'll be one stream. It'll be a nice long one. So hopefully you guys will be there for that. I'll let you know when that's going to be happening. Maybe we'll try to line it up for a weekend, you know, Saturday or Friday night. Cool. Irish Scandinavia. Well, we did a lot of Scandinavia recently.
Going to 135.28, Boeing 8753.
Alright, we're at 29,000 feet. It looks like we have to stay at 29,000 until Xerox, and then at Xerox we're going to go up to 39,000. Alright, before we get too far along, because unfortunately, for some reason... Oh, there we go, we can request IFR clearance. Finally! I haven't been able to request IFR clearance in a while. I don't know if something was broken or something.
Iberia Express A327 is cleared to Barajas Airport as filed. Squawk 0066.
Iberia Express A327 cleared to Barajas Airport is filed. Squawk 0066.
Okay, but I'm still going to make a fixed point.
Iberia Express A3.
I want to make a fixed point of where we should begin our descent.
Radar contact.
Whoa.
Flight level 290. Turn right, heading 265 descend and maintain flight level 220.
Turn right, heading 265 descent and maintain flight level 220 Iberia Express A327. Barcelona Center Iberia Express A327. Request flight level 280.
Iberia Express A327 descend and maintain flight level 280.
Descend and maintain flight level 280 Iberia Express A327.
Alright, we're going to get up to 380.
Barcelona Center Iberia Express A327. Request flight level
We'll see how silly
380.
the in-game ATC can be.
Iberia Express A327 climb and maintain flight level 380.
We're going to increase by 1,000 because we are going the opposite direction. We don't want to be running into somebody.
Barcelona Center Iberia Express A327. Request flight level 390.
Alright. Trying to get my charts on Navigraphs for the airport and parking and all that. Airport.
Climb and maintain flight level 380. Expect flight level 390 Iberia Express A327.
Where?
Iberia Express A327 traffic is 10 o'clock, 4 miles at flight level 290, Boeing 737. Report them in sight.
Hey. Hey.
Iberia Express A327 have the Boeing 737 in sight.
This rule.
The 82521 traffic is 8 o'clock, 3 miles at flight level 305 Airbus A20N. Report them in sight.
Okay. Thank you for that.
The 82521 have the traffic.
Oh. Alright, so that's the Balearic Sea, part of the Macedonian, or not Macedonian, Mediterranean Sea, off to our left. Actually, kind of just over there is Barcelona. And right now we're kind of going a little, basically south, slightly to the west, but we're gonna take a straight turn west pretty soon. Make our way towards Madrid. And now we're basically directly headed towards Valencia. See another plane right down there coming, I guess in the opposite direction. What are you doing? Oh. How's everyone doing? This is the final planned flight of the night. Flying into Madrid, world tour flight. Might do a US flight afterwards or something else. Likely we'll take a break for a while though. And if I decide I want to do another flight, might get on later and stream it. Alright, so we're gonna make a big right turn. Start headed towards Madrid. Oh. Thank you, dude. I think he banged his head into the microphone. Whoa. Hey, hey. I'm all right. He's fine. Just hit things way now.
Climb and maintain flight level 390 Iberia versus A327.
Who has another glove? Keeps scratching his face. So. I have one glove, but I don't know where the other is. Alright, we're going to calculate our descent. Looks like about 100, I'm going to say 107 miles before we want to be at 5,000 feet. We has been. has been... I'm just gonna make a fixed point just to give us an idea when we should start descending. Yeah, you can Kung Fu Panda. To understand this game, I don't think you need to watch a tutorial to understand the game. But if you want to fly in the game and want to be able to do things properly and get the plane on the ground and get it up in the air and do things, tutorials are helpful. Watching streams like this, where just watching someone do it. There's lots of great ones out there. There's so many streams where people are flying different planes. Right now I'm flying the A320. But yeah, every plane is different too. So there's some things that kind of go across the board. Obviously, certain principles of flight, how autopilot in general works. But depending on the plane, some of these systems are different and things you got to do. I'm always learning new things. So, yeah, you're probably going to want to watch a tutorial depending on the complexity of the plane. I mean, if you're just going to... awesome. Put this sim up on my 4K TV, but kept crashing, so I put it on autopilot. Well, the cool thing about this plane is if you set it up properly, this plane will even land itself, the A320. Now, I have a mod. I'm playing on PC, so I have the Flybywire mod, which makes it way more like the actual plane functions, which has auto land and all that. Yeah, I would suggest, I mean, best thing to do is you just got to practice, and learn how to land, and eventually kind of figure out that trim, like how to trim, and again, when you watch certain people, and I don't know how many flights or how many hours I have. Like in this plane, I think I have probably 300 hours in this plane, maybe. Then back in X plane, I flew a Boeing 737, probably had a good 500 hours doing that. So when I first started, in the Boeing, I couldn't, I was always struggling landing, and then when I came over to Flight Simulator here and had to learn the A320, it took a little bit of a learning curve and frustration. Like, I just want to fly, and gotta watch some tutorials and watch some complete flights and watch what people are doing, because sometimes tutorials skip steps and don't really tell you what you need to know. I don't have my headset on, so I don't know what Barcelona control is telling me. Madrid control. Okay. You guys let me know if they give me they tell me to start descending. Let me know what that is, 'cause I can't hear them right now. Yeah, he scratched his... He likes to scratch his face because his fingernails grow so fast. Thanks, Kung Fu Panda, for the follow, yeah. Kung Fu Panda Troll. I don't have a terribly regular schedule, Kung Fu Panda, but I typically will stream 7:30 Central Time, U.S. Central Time. We'll stream about to midnight, a little bit after midnight. And that will be on nights I have off from work. So every other weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I will stream that time. And then weeks where I have to work the weekend, then it'll be one or two times. There'll be one time during the week, probably, where I'll be streaming. One or two times. I think how that would work. Yeah, so basically every week. I'd say my schedule is every week, Sunday, or every weekend, every other weekend will be off streaming because I have to work, but then there's always it always ends up being a stream during the week because whatever it is. Let's see what it told me. Let's see what it told me. Yeah, we're about that point. Yep. 32,000 feet, flight level 320. And I mostly fly the A320. I do fly the Bombardier CRJ, Canadian regional jet, Canada Air regional jet, whatever it is. And then some point I'll be picking up the PMDG Boeing 737. I'm not sure if I'm going to wait for the 800 variant, which is the most popular variant, or if I'm going to grab the 700 that's coming out this weekend. It's just a little stubbier version of the 800 is the main version of the 737, and then the 600 and the 700 are shorter, and then the 900 is a little bit of extended cabin. Hey. And I'll be learning, or I'll be relearning, reacquainting myself with the 737 pretty soon. Might have been Ryanair. Probably Ryanair.
Traffic alert. 4 o'clock, less than 1 mile, flight level tree, 60 Airbus A320N. Report them in sight.
Iberexpers 8327 have the Boeing 737 in sight.
Ryanair 771 have the Airbus A20N in sight.
Not really. I usually don't wear glasses too often, so he hasn't grabbed them yet. I'm sure he's getting to that point where he will, though. Grabbing things more and more.
Flight level 220 Iberexpers 8327.
Ryanair Flight 222 traffic is 10 o'clock, 4 miles at flight level tree 50 EMB 190. Report them in sight. KLM 150 tree, contact Barcelona Center on 119.45. Good day. for KLM 150 tree.
Emotional damage!
Ryanair 4116 traffic is 12 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 350 Boeing 737. Report them in sight. Ryanair 771 tree traffic is 10 o'clock 3 miles at flight level 370 Boeing 737. Report them in sight. Ryanair 4116 traffic alert. 12 o'clock less than 1 mile, flight level 350 Boeing 737. Report them in sight.
Alright, just getting the metadata. We can fill in our performance page. This is the radio nav page. So because we're doing an ILS approach, it automatically fills that in. You can see on our chart right here, Mike Alpha Alpha is the ILS 109.9, and then the course is 323 degrees. I like to put in the VOR as well. There's a number of VORs in the area for various reasons. Here I put in Barajas, which is Bravo Romeo Alpha. I just realized that these little dots underneath, that's actually the Morse code. There's another plane I have, which is actually from the 1930s. It's an awesome plane. I need to reinstall it because the engines are messed up right now. And but that one you actually fly via radio signals, and you fly via the Morse code and stuff, and it's really cool. But anyway, I'm putting the VOR there just as a backup. We're not going to need it, but it's always a different way to do it. Some sound like Oh, that was a sound effect on Twitch that people on Twitch can play. I have different sounds that you can play over there. I think it's a Stephen Hu or something from like a Chinese American YouTuber. Oh, why? Alright, I want to go to the message that we got. Right here you can see company message. We'll receive messages, MEDAR. Put this away. I need that right now. Got it. Probably got told to then cleared again to 12,000 feet. Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and watch that, Sean, because that takeoff, we did not have enough runway. Or literally my calculator was saying it's like you can't take off from this runway in an A320, it's below the minimums. So I went flaps 3, maybe full flaps would have been even better. And we just went toga and just barely got off the runway and barely off the trees right at the end of the runway. I wish I had turned on my replay and I recorded that, because I barely probably cleared those trees by a few feet. Because I did not look into the fact that this airport is a little bit smaller, and that's why A320s do not fly into it. The flight is really an ATR-72, and that's a big difference. Prop versus a turboprop versus a jet airliner. So, luckily we got off the ground and didn't hit anything, but it was close. It was a interesting takeoff. I think I printed that. No, I didn't. I hit print. That's going to print out that information. Yeah, landing. As I was coming, and we were also going too fast. I could not get that speed to stay down. We came in fast. I had medium brake. I probably should have had max auto brake, but used full reversers, no problem there. But yeah, takeoff's a little bit different because you can't really, kick in higher and higher amount of brakes. I didn't even think of that when we were landing, that the runway would be too short, because I've landed at short runways like in Guernsey and Jersey, but now I'm thinking back and say, yeah, but I was flying the CRJ 700, which doesn't need as much runway. Take off. Alright, let's see what we're doing. We're descending, coming up on Nasco. Make sure we're in the star. Center terminal approach route, Turs 2 Zulu. This is a hold point coming up. We need to be between 240 and 10,000, or flight level 240 and flight level 100, 10,000, 24,000 and 10,000. We are that already. But you can see it's got this little thing. I think that means it's a hold point where you can do a hold. but we should be fine. We need to get, as been, we need to get down to 5,000. I think we should be able to. The CJ4. Oh, thanks for the subscription, David Rivera on YouTube. Thank you. I don't know if I'll ever fly the CJ4. I've just never looked into it. It doesn't really fit with any of my flight plans, at least, because flying commercial flights, and usually commercial flights I don't think they fly the CJ4. Cool. All right. Alright, so that would have been a hold point if we needed it. NASCO. Microphone. Only reason I don't fly the CJ4 is because I don't know how well it flies, and I've never flown it, and I don't know how to fly it. But maybe I can look into learning how to do it. I just typically like the bigger planes. Okay, so we're still getting 3-2 left. Now they want, ATC has cleared us for the VOR. Oops, they were talking to someone else. No, we might not get that. But the reason in-game ATC typically does the VOR, even if there's an ILS available. I'm not going to switch off and do the VOR. But in real life, if they give you the VOR, it's because they don't have the ILS on. The ILS might not be active, and if the ILS isn't active, then trying to use the ILS approach, you're not going to get anything. The difference between ILS and VOR is that ILS, uses, well, there's a localizer. Now, a localizer is going to get you on the right heading for the runway, and it's going to keep you locked on the right heading. ILS has the localizer, but it also has a glide slope, and it's going to bring you on a glide slope. The descent into the runway. VOR, basically the same concept as a localizer. It's going to get you to the runway, but it's on you to descend. It's kind of similar almost to what we did with the RNAV going into runway 3 there at LESU, where I had to descend. I had to make sure my descent was right, which is why it was a little bit rough. Right, we need to get descending here. Throw out those speed brakes. You can hear those speed brakes going.
Alpine 4455 traffic is 7 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 290 Airbus A320. Report them in sight. Alpine 578 tree traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 290 Airbus A320. Report them in sight.
Just so cool seeing the different landscapes. These are always my favorite, where you get these kind of cool kind of plateaus, ridges, mesas, whatever you'd call those.
Going to 127.1.
That's why my favorite place to fly when I'm flying in the US is usually the Southwest because of that.
PRES 8327 is passing 13,700 feet, descending 12,000 feet.
All right, down to 12,000. What's our UNH was 1021. I didn't put any of this in, actually. I make them in sim brief. So like right here I have there's sim brief. A sim brief plan. I usually put the stuff into sim brief the day of, right before the flight. Otherwise, it doesn't always, other programs that use SimBrief are like, oh, it's out of date. And so it's good to do it right before. But I plan my flights, like where I'm point to point where I'm going to go, weeks, months out ahead of time. And then I go into
5,000 feet Iberia Spurs 8327.
Then I jump into SimBrief and see what SimBrief is going to give me for like the details of the flight plan, how many passengers, weight, waypoints, and all that. I don't plan all that out ahead of time. I just go into SimBrief, throw that in. Actually, in between streams, when if I, you know, my first flight of the night, I usually get that all done like an hour before I'm going to go live, or as soon as I can, just get it done, get it ready. But then my next flight, when I'm doing the intermission, you guys, I'm switching over YouTube streams, all that stuff. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going into SimBrief, throwing that stuff in, getting a new plan for that flight, adjusting all the overlays and everything and graphics for the next flight. So quite a bit of stuff going on in between flights, loading up Flight Simulator, hopefully dealing with it if it crashes, getting it loaded up, possibly giving the baby a bath. That's what happened today between the landing in LESU and then the helicopter flight. This is why it was about a half an hour delay. Just got a little bit of wind there. Right now we got a crosswind 15 knots, not a big deal. Alright, Aspen, I want to be at 5,000, or a little bit high. Let's see. Ugh. Okay, I think we're gonna have a little bit of an issue here. I'm going to throw in a hold here at Aspen, just to give us some more time. Not a real hold point, but I should have held back at that other point, whatever, no tox or whatever. But gonna go into a hold and get down to 5,000 feet because coming up, that's the final, and we can't be a nose diving. Saw what happened when we did that at LESU. Should start seeing Madrid. Let's see. Madrid's gonna be over to our left as we come in. We are approaching the airport from the south. So coming from the northeast, but our route takes us a little bit south. Madrid's going to be on our left. So we're coming in runway 32 left. Same runway. We came in 32 right when we flew in here last time. We were scheduled for 32 left, but who do we have? We had CW Simulations. He was flying with us, and he got 32 left, and we were kind of on top of each other. Who else was flying with us? But I was like, okay, I'll jump over to 32 right. Not a big deal. Just kind of sidestep, get over there. That way we don't have a clearance issue. Yep, but most of my flights, Sean, to answer your question, yeah, I do most of my flights. I plan a lot of stuff for my flights ahead of time, getting thumbnails, making graphics, all that stuff. That's why I typically don't do like, hey, can you do a flight from here to here? And I typically don't do that night. But if you do make a request, I will start working on planning it and eventually scheduling it. That way I can have all the right graphics, have everything set up, you know, scenery, whatever I want. Now, if I do like a smaller plane, if I jump into like the X-Cub or whatever and just do like a, you know, random little VFR flight, there's not as much planning that has to go into that. I don't even plan that on SimBrief at all. I just fly. Oh, okay, I was talking about where Madrid was going to be. I forgot we were in this hold, so never mind. Madrid's going to be more... It's going to be over here somewhere. Not over here, what like I was saying. Because we're going the wrong direction right now. Alright, we're going to exit this hold. You see, like, depending on where you tell it to exit, it'll kind of shrink it a little bit. awesome feature that's finally available, or has been available for the last couple months now, but it was a while coming. And testament to the great work of the Flybywire team. Something that is clearly not available in the default A320 that comes with Flight Simulator. That's probably an annoying sound. Alright, we're at 5,000, coming up on 5,000 feet. We're going to exit the hold at Asbin, continue on to Papa Delta Tango. The
2,500.
Yeah, we're only 2,500 feet above the ground at this point. Airport elevation is, I'm guessing, 2,500. Actually, just under 2,000 feet. Well, there was nothing much we could do, was there?
2,500. 2,500.
Alright, let's see. Okay, max speed 220 knots, we're already down to 200. Coming up on Peripherals, that's the Papa Delta Tango VOR. Peripherals.
2,500.
We're going to capture the glide slope 6.2 miles out from the ILS, or 6.6 miles out from the VOR, so that's a good thing. We're going to also turn on ILS, that's going to tell us the distance. We need to be down at 4,000 feet. They should give us clearance to that. We're going to start slowing down. I always forget my landing lights lately. This is why they have co-pilots and checklists. Well, thanks for coming along on this flight with me. We're going to be, after this stream, I don't have anything, nothing's set up and planned yet.
2,500.
I might jump on later and stream, might not, probably, I'm not sure. Might spend tonight kind of getting stuff prepared for future streams and some other things I want to do. You know, part of me wants to just fly all night. Another part of me is like, well, there's other things you need to get done, and you're going to be kicking yourself if you don't do them when you have the chance. So, like I said, it'd be cool to do 12 hours of flying, but at the same time, when you only have 2 days, you only have 2 days a week to get things done a lot. You gotta kind of get some of that stuff done. You gonna clear me? Let's see.
REX PRES 8327 requesting vector to next
Hyper
waypoint.
Express. Hyper Express, that's all they gotta say. You can see the arrow, that's the VOR.
Turn
It's a
right,
little
heading
bit different than the
265
ILS, it's just a little
Iberia
off, and so
8327.
the VOR is just gonna get you to the runway, it's not gonna line you up directly always. Do that. Same with the ILS here. As this thing gets a little closer. So this is autopilot, I don't need that on.
Keep speed not above 220 knots. Expect VOR DME runway tree 2 left approach via tailback transition. Cleared to tailback.
Keep speed not above 220 knots. Expect VOR DME
Towback.
runway tree 2 left approach via towback transition. Clear to towback Iberia 8327.
What? I like how it's like, you're cleared to towback. It's like, I'm already past towback, I'm past Aspen. Just let me. What are we doing here? So dumb. Alright. ATC has clearly decided it's not gonna do things right again, and I'm not gonna waste my time with it. Alright, we're gonna hit approach. We're gonna capture the glide slope. We actually don't need to get to 4,000 feet, we're just gonna capture the glide slope first. Go full flaps. Glide slope is captured. Localizer is also captured, or should be. Let's see. We need to be at. I didn't put my approach data in. I forgot to do that. Not a big deal. At this point. I'm gonna put in the minimum though. There we go.
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet Iberia
No,
8327.
we're landing. You cleared us. I don't know why you're doing all these transitions and nonsense. I don't know why they don't give us the approach before we're on the final approach. That's twice now coming in this airport. They always want me to go. No, I didn't have a problem with that last time. But it's like somewhere else where it's like I'm way past the transition point they want me to go to, and it's like, why are you giving me the transition that's on the wrong side of the airport from where I'm coming from? I've been preparing to come in on this the whole way, and then at the last second you're gonna have me just fly to a different country before I come in? Alright. Landing gear down.
Please expedite your climb 5,000 feet.
This is where we say, nah, not listening to you, ATC, anymore. Because you're not good at your jobs. Alright, operational minimums. Yeah, sadly, the draw distance of the photogrammetry is not too terribly great. All this is coming in fine, but this is all just auto-gen. That over there is all Madrid is photogrammetry, which probably looks really nice if we were over there. Alright, so we're 2.7 miles away from the ILS, 3 miles away from the VOR. Part of me just wants to let it auto land so I get a decent landing rate for once. Been bouncing so much lately.
$500. $400. 100 above.
Wow, it just decided to fall out of the sky. Where was it aiming? Yeah, why did the plane just immediately start descending there?
Minimum 200.
Really weird. Not supposed to land on the threshold.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Madrid. The local time is 5:41 p.m. and it's currently about 9 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items...
Alright, I think that was a decent landing. We'll see what the rate was, but... Okay, that's not where I wanted to go. I always take the wrong exit ramp, right? Always gotta take the wrong exit ramp. Okay, ground. Taxi to gates.
Ground Iberia PRS 8327 taxi to the gate. Taxiing to gate 374 via taxiway Alpha Juliet X-Ray Hotel Delta Ibrix Vers 8327.
Alright, Sean. Good night. Thanks for flying along. Or coming along on the flight. I'm gonna stop right here. 379 or 374. Okay, so same terminal, Terminal 4, where we took off from earlier tonight. We were at like gate 354 to start the night. So not as far to taxi. We're going Alpha Juliet, which is going to be right. Juliet X-Ray Hotel Delta. Okay. APU's going. Start that up. Actually, Juliet right here. First, I thought there were no planes here. I was like, oh, did my traffic controller break? But they're here. It's not as many as before. See you over there. So that was X-Ray, and this is Hotel. Alright, we're going to do some replays here, so we're going to keep the engines running. Let's keep this state right now. And stop recording. Atlanta, stop flight. Okay. Replay. Pause the replay. Let's make sure everything is in the position it needs to be in. Yep. We have full flaps, speed brakes. Yes. Landing gear is out.
Pull up. Pull up.
Oh, it's freaking out on the speed here. Alright, so we're gonna go replay.
500.
There's a good position. We'll take this shot first. All right, that looked like a pretty cool landing. Let's get this plane shut down. Taxi lights off, strobe lights should have been off already, but we did the replay. Let's get the external power. Turn off the APU. And throw off the seatbelt signs, bring down the engines. I never seem to get the jetway. Never seem to get the jetway. Alright. In any case. Beacon light come off, the engines are down. Seatbelt signs off. And we'll get the passengers deboarding. And while they're doing that, we're gonna jump over to Volanta and take a look at the flight report. Let's see. They were a third person to arrive at Madrid today. Let's see, landing rate 215. I like that. That's not bad. I prefer sub 200, but if it's sub 300, I'm happy at this point. Flight time just under an hour. I think our flight to LESU was exactly an hour. Landing speed 125, just a little bit over speed. Should have been probably 123, I think, but close enough. And you can see we got our little hold pattern there. Alright, and we'll just give you guys one more look at the World Tour map. We've already been to Spain, so we don't need to add any countries in. But just give you a good look at where we've been. There it is. Next flight, we will be going up to Luxembourg, right there. And from Luxembourg, we'll be headed down to Rimini, Italy. And possibly, depending on the time, we'll be able to do that little flight to San Marino. But we'll see how it goes. Tuesday night will be the next stream. Will be 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on YouTube and Twitch for the notification that I'm live. I might go live a little early, might go live slightly late, depends on what happens. But I'll try to be 7:30. And one final thing before shut it down. Jump over here. Get PackX and see what they have to say. They're getting off a lot slower than they did last flight. Send a flight right then. Anyway, Virus slightly ahead of schedule. That's better than last time where we had a hard landing. Definitely be recommending you at work, and glad we're here early. Gonna be fun leaving the aircraft. Alright, 95% satisfaction. That's a good thing. We'll close out PackX. And let me get the end screen here. Alright, let's see. What do we got going on Twitch? We got a few viewers here on Twitch. Let's go find someone to raid. And you know what? I haven't. Oh, there we go. We're gonna go raid Ibanez Player 200, buddy of mine. Yeah, looks like some interesting things going on there. He's watching some interesting videos. All right. So stick around, let's raid him, and I will be live Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Hope to see you there. You guys take care until then.